Let's talk about Dillon Gabriel here now. He gets his first start in London. Obviously, he's taken on the Carson Wentz experience and a B-flow defense that is going to be difficult. But whenever you think about Dillon Gabriel, what do you think about whenever it comes to handling this entire situation? This is a tough situation for a third-round draft pick who's trying to make his career, and then a guy that's drafted 2 rounds after him is obviously the topic of conversation all offseason, all training camp. Even when he gets his start, topic of conversation. He has maintained kind of locked-in, laser-like focus. I love the way he has handled it. He obviously has a chance with his arm. What do you expect from him with the Browns? And has he always been this guy that is like the utmost professional, seemingly, here?
Yeah, I'm with you. I go back to anytime you're looking at a young quarterback. I personally look at how many reps he had as a collegiate quarterback. This guy was at UCF for a few years, then he went to Norman, played at Oklahoma, and then obviously finished it in Eugene. And the only reason I bring all that up is this guy's dealt with a lot of different circumstances and different kind of pressures, especially when he stepped up from UCF to Oklahoma. And so I think that really hardens a guy. You know, when you deal with the ups and downs of playing quarterback at some of these high-profile places and you have so many reps, you know, that's why I think Brock Purdy was able so quickly after a four-year starter at Iowa State to be able to step into the NFL and seed the game pretty quickly. And I think Dillon Gabriel reminds me of that. You know, he reminds me of a guy that had a ton of reps. You put him in that offense with Kevin Stefanski, who understands how to attack and how to be decisive. I would tell you, even though he's young, I have high expectations. Now, he's not your typical 6'3", 6'4" quarterback, but
sure,
because of what I just brought up about how he understands how to attack defense's weakness, I think he'll be put in a position to make quick decisions, and I would not be surprised at all to see him go out and play well in his first game. And what you brought up, I think he understood when Shedeur Sanders got drafted that there was going to be a lot of attention on Shedeur, and that he was in a very unique position of being drafted ahead of him, but not be talked about a lot. And now here he is, even this week, he's the starter. Part of me wonders if he's okay with that. Part of me wonders if he just, you know, let my play do my talking. And, you know, he's going to have a really, as we all know, Minnesota, what they do defensively with the different looks, they'll pressure you, especially young quarterbacks. They'll walk 7 guys up. They'll come. They'll drop. You know, his head's going to be spinning. But I don't know. I got a feeling he'll go out there, and I'm not saying he's going to light it up, but I don't think he's going to be a deficiency. I think he'll play well, and I think he'll play fast because of how he'll be prepped for that defense.
Aaron Rodgers played fast against the Minnesota Vikings defense last week in Ireland. It looked good. Now, obviously, Aaron Rodgers, 20-some years in against NFL defenses. We'll see what Dillon Gabriel, 64 career college starts, brings into the NFL. Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. They just did the this weekend. I went to the Hall of Fame for West Virginia. No big deal.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, congrats, bro.
Shout out to Penn.
Great speech, one take, unbelievable. Yeah, he had to do his acceptance speech
one take
on the college game day set in front with the speakers up in front of, I don't know, 8,000 or 10,000 Penn State fans, and knocked it out in one take. It was pretty remarkable. And they even sang
Country Roads.
They sang Country Roads. It was fantastic.
Yeah, it was great. It was nice. I appreciate them helping there. I was told on Wednesday, like, because there was still like a thought on me trying to make it to Morgantown for the entire thing. Timing-wise, wasn't going to work. And then also my family, like my wife had an event or two to go to. My dad was, like, I felt like that should have been a family thing. So it was, you know, fall is crazy for us. I mean, obviously we see, but all of us, fall is pretty crazy. Yeah. So on Wednesday, Matt Wells, remember Wellesley, the assistant athletic director, was like, hey, can you send a video that we can run at least? And I'm like, you got it. I completely forgot about it. Like, I'm like, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. Wellesley, good guy. He sends me a text on Friday. He's like, hey, man, all good. Just wondering if you get that video. Friday, I'm already at Penn State. We don't have a... So am I going to do an iPhone video? I don't think so. So literally, I'm like, I text Matt Garrett the night before. I'm like, hey, can I use the stage tomorrow morning to record something? I think that would be pretty cool. I also, because college game day and college football and everything like that. Yeah, no problem. So I didn't think it through, though. I was like, this is literally the only shot that I got to do this thing. Once I get up there, I didn't even realize we got to stop the music, because there's DJ Griff is crushing it out there since like 5 a.m. Stop the music completely. do you want us to play the speakers to the people or not? I'm like, oh, no, I didn't even think about it. I thought I was just going to be able to talk while music's happening. Would not have been possible. So I'm very thankful that they kind of bought into it. And they actually shaped kind of the speech because they started with eat shit pit chants immediately. So as soon as I turned around.
Good improv on that.
Hey, thank you. As soon as I turned around, I was like, hey, I got to do a Hall of Fame speech. And they're like, congratulations. I'm like, thanks. Yeah. It's obviously I can't make it because I'm here. Is there any way you could help? They're going to show it at West Virginia or whatever. And they go, yeah. The crowd's like, yeah. And then as soon as I turn back around, they go, eat shit, pit. I'm like, yeah, okay. Yes, you do know. You do know what we are trying to get accomplished. So I appreciate them doing that. But in the video they ran, I learned a lot about my college career. So they put together a video.
Really
they put together a really nice video, and I'm very thankful. And I learned a lot about my career. It was kind of like, nice, because in that speech I talked about how since I've left, I've only thought about one game, one night, the entire time. How it was the worst night of my life. Like, that's all I've thought about with my West Virginia career. And if I hadn't thought about it, somebody will remind me of it. So that's literally, I went to school there for however long, all-time leading scorer, all that shit. Only thing I think about is the worst night of my life, basically. So then...
Kicking, punting, kickoffs, like you did it all, man. I didn't realize that myself. I went back and watched the presentation and the way they led to it. I was curious to see how that went, and I was with you. I was watching that video, like, holy shit, like this. How many guys do that today? How many guys are punters and kickers and the kickoff? Like, that's very rare, I think.
Yeah. Now remember, I retired at 29, staring down my fourth knee. I kind of blew this thing out. I maxed the legs out. But in there it said I had 51 starts or something like that for West Virginia. And at the time it was like the most. I forget. Like, it was like nationally ranked for amount of games and amount of starts and everything. And I'm kicker, so is it even a real start because it's not first play? That's a whole conversation. This dude having 64 starts. Is that what you said?
64 starts with 2,111 pass attempts.
and see, Pat, I think at that position, for obvious reasons, that allows a guy who's a rookie who on the NFL, it moves so fast, which it does. But if you go back and look in the last 10 or 15 years, look at the guys that started for 3 years plus. And look at how they were. Now, chances are, still, it's tough to make it in the NFL for these quarterbacks. But the guys that have the best chance are like anybody. Like, you do something more often, you see more coverages, you make more mistakes, you learn from those mistakes, and you got me that time. I'm going to get you the next time. And I really think I'll tell you, jumping right into the deep end, going up against that Minnesota defense and the scheme. But that's going to be a great game to watch. Just to watch Dillon Gabriel go out and see how he can execute.
9:30 a.m. Hopefully it's not a blowout. We're waking up with you over there. And hopefully Greg Olson's back on the call. He was awesome on Sunday morning. We got a good cast right now. It feels like calling games. Some people are getting attacked weekly. But, it feels like the shot clock is on for everybody. Let's talk about the game tonight. Go ahead, Ty.
Yeah, Herbie, I think a lot of us are surprised that the Niners are 8.5-point dogs tonight to the Rams. But from talking to Kyle Shanahan, what have you heard from him on not only the amount of injuries that they're going to be dealing with tonight, but also Mac Jones starting under center again?
Yeah, I mean, think about, take your team, the Packers, and imagine taking down, and I know you guys have had to deal with some injuries, but I don't know if I've ever seen a team that's decimated by injuries more than the 49ers, and not just this year, but the last 4 or 5 years. They've had such a great window here with such talented players, and it just feels like Debo's now in Washington. Some of these guys are getting older. As the window is beginning to close, and then this year, it starts off early with Kittle being down. Hopefully he'll be back in a week or so. Now you got Ricky Pearsall, who's kind of become their number one receiver, down. You got Ayuk, who's already been down all year. And then you got Brock Purdy, who was dealing with that turf toe, a different level of turf toe than Joe Burrow. They thought, you guys saw him try to come back last week, re-aggravated it, short week. So they're going to go back to Mac Jones, who was dealing with his own injury himself with a knee, but thankfully he's able to go. He's 2-0, by the way, as a starter this year, and so he'll get the opportunity. But you're talking about Demarcus Robinson, who's a former Ram, who's going to be one of his go-to guys tonight. You're talking about Kendrick Bourne, who Mac Jones played with in New England. and you got backup tight ends. The good news is Christian McCaffrey is there, so I wouldn't be shocked to see him try to carry the offense tonight. Not only running the ball, which has been, by the way, kind of an Achilles heel for San Fran. It's a matter of time till Kyle and this offense will get the run game going. Hopefully, it starts tonight. But even if they can't, look for Christian involved in the pass game. Obviously, to just the more weapons they can get on the field that they know what they can do, the better. Meanwhile, they're going up against a Rams defense. You could argue is playing as well as anybody right now in the whole NFL. I mean, we always think of the Rams. Wow. We think of Sean. We think of Stafford. We think of offense. But this defense, post Aaron Donald, the way that Les Snead, their GM, and Sean have gone out through the draft and free agency, their D-line's playing as well as anybody in the league, creating all kinds of problems so they can play zone. That four does all the work. Everybody else has their eyes on the football. So they definitely have their hands full. But like the Dolphins and the Bills a couple weeks ago, you never know, man. Just when it looks like San Fran has no chance, it wouldn't shock me at all to see them somehow rally around that theme of no chance and play well.
Shanahan as an underdog to McVay is 7-2 against the spread.
How about that?
So
How about that?
As an underdog against McVay, now against everybody else, he kind of stinks. When he's an underdog, it's basically like the sports books are on. But against McVay, Shanahan 7-2 against the spread as an underdog. It started at 3 on the 28th of September. Now we're on October 2nd. It's at 8.5 because of all the injuries. You talked there a little bit about one of the weapons on San Francisco that they didn't have last year. But the running back position as a whole is kind of having a little bit of a resurgence here. Go ahead, Con Man.
Yeah, Herbie, I'm pretty worried about CMC. He's the leading receiver and leading rusher, and they don't have, I believe, he's second in receiving, first in rushing, and they don't have Pearsall, who's first, and Jennings, who's third. So I'm kind of thinking CMC might get 55 touches and tackled 65 times somehow. What do you think about the running backs in this game? Do you think this is going to be kind of a run the ball because the 49ers are going to be so focused on Puka and Devontae, or how do you see this matching up?
Does that mean take the under? Is that what you're saying?
Under. Also, hold on. There's a stat here. The last 10 times or 9 times that Shanahan's underdog to McVay, the under is hit 7-3, 6-3. 6-3 the under is, as Shanahan is underdog against McVay. Underdog is hit 6-3. 6-3.
You got all kinds of good stuff. It feels like that, Connor. I think a lot of people, the local media in San Fran, are really all over Kyle and the offense about the run game. We always think about you guys as a great running team, and you haven't been able to get it on track. And I've heard some of the players and Kyle talk about, we're very close. It's all 11 guys. Whether it's guys that work in a double team or the back finding the right hole or receivers blocking. It's kind of a collective effort when it works, and when it doesn't, same issue. But we all know, even with these injuries at receivers, really a matter of time until you can get Christian McCaffrey on track. Like I said earlier, hopefully, if that happens, the one thing to remember watching this game, the Rams defense in their first 4 weeks, the opponents are averaging third and 9.4, basically third and 10. If that happens tonight, if that trend happens tonight, it's going to be a really tough night to throw the football if you get those obvious passing situations. The beauty in running, if they can get it going, is you put Mac Jones in more of a play action game and throw on your terms. So that'll be a big thing tonight. But the backs on the other side that you alluded to, Connor, Kyron Williams, very, very underrated back in my thought anyway.
Oh yeah,
just brings a personality and a toughness that seems to kind of resonate and really kind of provide some juice for the entire team. But he doesn't get talked about it much because of obviously Matthew Stafford and Puka and Devontae Adams. But I really think you go back to the Super Bowl in 21, that team, to now, that was more of a shotgun, Odell Beckham, spread people out, let Stafford work. And I think they've evolved to become more of a blow you up, run downhill, under center, physical, and then play action to Puka and those guys with Stafford. So the backs on the other side, and Blake Corum, the young man out of Michigan, is doing a hell of a job along with Kyron Williams. So it's a physical game typically between these two teams, and the Rams, I think, have a lot of confidence in that style.
Yeah, I believe in McVay mightily. believe in Shanahan too. I have like that kind of natural thing. And then people throw stats in my face all the time.
Kill Shanahan.
All the time. People throw stats about Shanahan all the time. Because when they have bad years, it's real bad.
Yep.
And it brings down all the other
it's one
shit.
or the other.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, I'm like, I believe in Shanahan. Man, I saw him look real cool
I do
at a
too,
beach
dude.
house, throw the football across into a garbage can. I'm like, I like him. I like Shanahan.
I'm with you. Both these guys are as innovative as we have in the NFL. They have been for years. And I think they really love competing against each other and just kind of finding out. And Kyle Shanahan, I don't know. He goes into this game, it's like, oh, everyone's hurt. They have no chance. I don't know, man. I think this is one of those games where he's like, my scheme's pretty good. I got a lot of confidence in what we can do. And yeah, it sucks that we got all of our Pro Bowl players are down, but we still got some guys, you know. So I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised to see them rally around, you know, some of that doubt that's
Shout out to the uninterrupted power source. Pretty interrupted, but also we are still live.
Still live on YouTube.
Still live, which is great. Kirk, you were sending so much good shit that electricity kind of double-crossed itself and kind of tore it. Hey, you talked our lights out.
That's
it was
right.
Peter. It was Peter. I love that.
Boy, Pete.
Everybody, Pete.
Chilling.
Pete, you had an article written about you and your dad being a fucking dog handler. This guy's right one, if it means anything. This dude's paws are bigger than your hands.
Yeah.
His paws are bigger than your hands. He is. Hey, good boy. Good boy. Think about people turning on their.
They know.
We're just barking at him. But I agree with everything you're saying about Shanahan. I literally do. But if you say it too loud in public around the wrong people, they're going to pull out 100 stats.
Sure.
They're going to say Shanahan ain't McVay. I don't want to hear it. So just know that before tonight. Tell Al we said what's up.
he's 10-7 against Sean in lifetime. So.
Okay, it's another good stat. These are all good stats. These are all good stats. Let's talk about some of the other teams around the NFL, obviously teams that you have seen. Go ahead, Tone.
Yeah, Herbert, you're on a bit of an NFC West tour. Last week you had the Cardinals and Seahawks, and the Seahawks they kind of had control of a lot of that game last week. And now this week they have Tampa coming up to Seattle, which is one of the better games this weekend. How do you feel about the Seahawks as a whole and then this weekend? Because tell you what, I watched them play the Steelers too. They look like a good football team.
So I've had a chance to see Green Bay and Washington. I've had a chance to see Buffalo. And then you mentioned last week having a chance to see Seattle. I tell you what, it's going to depend on if Sam Darnold continues to play the way he did last year, the way he's looked so far this year, if they stay healthy, obviously. Of all those teams, Buffalo feels like, they're because of Josh Allen, they're up there. Green Bay feels really good. I could easily see a Buffalo Green Bay Super Bowl. That'd be a fun one if they can stay healthy. Seattle is dangerous, man. What a great matchup. Baker Mayfield and that offense going up against that Seattle defense. What's weird is Seattle wins on the road with Mike McDonald. They can't win at home. It's the craziest thing. Like, you would think the 12, Seattle, no, you can't go in there and win. That's not been the case at all. They've been road warriors. I think they've only lost one on the road since he's been there. But at home, they can't put it together. But I think Seattle's for real. I think this NFC West is depending on San Fran if they can get healthy. But the Rams, I think, can't wait to see them in person tonight in this game, because the way they've looked up to this point, and anytime Stafford's healthy and you've got Sean McVay and Puka and all that offense, but their defense is playing lights out. So NFC is a lot of fun, not just the NFC West, the entire NFC. It's going to be a hell of a run as we move along this season.
Yeah, late year football is going to be electrifying in the NFC West. McDonald has won how many?
9 of his first 10 road games.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good mental toughness.
Man.
Lost one on the road.
That's pretty good mental toughness. And remember last year, the Seattle Seahawks, the 12s you're talking about, we all are big fans of. They gave up their stadium a couple different times.
Oh, yeah.
They had lost faith. Yeah. They lost their stadium twice. Buffalo Bills went in there and stole it,
Mm-hmm.
I think, on a Monday Night Football. Bills Mafia went in there and stole it. And the Packers, I think, went in there and stole it. I think the Seattle Seahawks fans did a lot of you're going to have to show us, buddy. You kick Pete Carroll out of town.
Mm-hmm.
You kick Geno out of here. You're going to have to figure it out. I think he's the right guy. I think we all.
You better get on that bandwagon fast because they're going to win a lot of games this year.
Not all Seahawks fans. I would like to make sure that's good. They're still very much a active Seahawks fan base, but we saw their stadium get stolen twice last year, and that never happens. They're like our representative in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, what stadium?
At Cincinnati or Nashville, that's a regular occurrence, but not in Seattle. That can't happen.
Whenever, let's say the hooligans over there from Europe go,
Sure.
give us your best atmospheres. We're going college. We're heading to
College. You saw the whiteout. First time in your life.
I was going to say it, but that's strictly 5 days ago in my life.
Sure.
So
well, that's aside from West Virginia.
And there,
Bro, the whiteout. People kind of when you're in the SEC and you say you got to go to the whiteout. Oh, that's no. I'm telling you, the whiteout and that Penn State student section, who I think is the best student section in the country, they drive it. So I think the whiteout is right there, and I think LSU at night when they have a good team playing against a good team, that's obviously right up there. And I think Neyland Stadium. I think we forgot how good of a spot is in Knoxville. Now that Josh has them back up competing and chasing playoffs, that is a really tough environment, intimidating environment. So those are three for me. What about you?
I think I'm on your side there. I think you know more. But in the NFL, it's Seattle is who we're throwing out there.
Mm-hmm.
Pittsburgh, Seattle, Green Bay, New England when they're rolling.
Baltimore.
Philadelphia, like those cities. But the Seattle Seahawks ones are the ones that have always been our rep. Hey, 30 seconds here before we head out. Alabama, Vandy. How cool is this for Vandy to have this moment? And also Alabama.
Before I flew out here, Pat, I visited with Diego Pavia just for a feature for Game Day this week. And, man, are we allowed to go to Tuscaloosa and pick Vandy? We're not allowed to do that.
I'm telling you, I've been talking to him a little bit, too, in the DMs. And there is no fear.
To him and Clark Lee, I'm like, holy cow. These dudes are for real. Now, Bama's coming off a massive win last week, as we know, in Athens. Yeah. So they got a ton of momentum. I feel like their quarterback really grew up, became his team. So I think Bama, obviously, the team to beat. But do not laugh. This is not the old Vandy. These boys are for real, and that quarterback is coming in pissed off at the world.